DVB, Digital Fast.
Hello and welcome to DVB Newsroom. I'm Nora. Joining me today is Chuu Wai, a Burmese artist whose work explores Myanmar traditions and culture, women's experiences, identity, and resilience, which has been exhibited around Europe. Thank you for being here, Chuu Wai.
Thank you for inviting me.
You studied IT engineering at university before becoming an artist. What drew you into the art world?
When I think about my childhood, I always spent creating, painting, drawing. And when we were young, there is the Dimeway journal for kids, and we can do the colorings and could send there. So I received a few prizes, and with my passport picture on the cover, like with my drawing, it came. So I think starting from that time is really made me too interested in art. And throughout the time, I keep studying. And after years and years, I became more and more into painting and drawing and to create art.
Did your family support the change, or was it a difficult decision to make?
It was a difficult decision, both of us, because after my high school, I really wanted to try to the art university, like National University of Art and Culture, to learn art. But their dream is he wants his daughter to be an engineer. So, and we make a deal. So I said I will keep learning art, but not from the university, but from the teacher and from the class in school, like private school. And but at the same time, I will take the degree. So we did.
What does a day of painting look like for you? What is it that inspires you?
The beginning, I really inspire a lot about Myanmar culture and history, and I really interested in about how the culture shape and how this history has happened, and what is the link and what is the impact happening now. So I listen to a lot of mythical story and history, and also the pagoda mural painting, like from Bagan and also from the Last Kingdom time. They have a parapike kind of book and hand drawing in some drawing and record inside the palace. I really interested in it, so I learned and I start creating a painting about the mythical story and about the history and culture. And I change like around 18 or 19 years old when I went at the university, like the middle of my university, and I start changing more to talk about women lives in Myanmar and the culture which connected with the women.
Mm-hmm. Talking about culture and tradition, do you feel Burmese traditions like weaving and fabrics are under-recognized in the global art scenes?
I think Myanmar is really unrecognized, not only in the fabric, but in a lot of scenes, because I think even in Southeast Asia, I think we are the least well-known country. So a lot of people don't know Myanmar. We have our own literature, like we have our own writings and texts and the language. So this is also, I really want to promote in my art. That's why even now I'm living in Europe and making an exhibition. Often I try to put Myanmar text in my painting. So often people questions like, what kind of language is it? And a lot of people don't know that we have our own language, and including the patterns of the fabric, because we have really interesting and different patterns. Some ethnic city fabric patterns are a bit similar from Africa and in Morocco and in some country which has more connection with the Europe, but even in Southeast Asia, we still have a really different patterns comparing to our neighbors' countries. So I really want to promote this fabrics and pattern as well. It has a lot of history and a lot of bring a lot of history, and it show.
Can you tell me what happened?
Yes, so actually there was a sexual harassment in the street in Mandalay when I was 18, and actually it happened to my sister. A guy came and grabbed my sister and drove away, and I tried to chase him and catch him and call the police at the time. So and, there was the accident, blood, and my motorbike crash. A lot of people in this area also came and surrounded and help us. The beginning, they got confused because I hit him from the back. So they thought, yeah, it's a driving mistake, like a driving accident. And they said it's my mistake, but actually, and then I explained it's not that because I'm trying to catch him. So, this moment had happened. And I thought it's happened because we're unlucky. But after that, I was very surprised when I talk about it to my roommate, to my friend from the university, and they all have a similar experience like that. Sometimes on the bed, sometimes in the way, sometimes even in your own place, so in your own neighborhood. So I was surprised why, like, almost 90% of the girl, like 95% of the girl that I talk about, they have a similar experience, and I was shocked why no one talk about it, why we didn't hear about it, and I thought about it, and it's happened like almost third time for me, and only at the time I responded like like a big sister wanted to protect. That's why I responded, and it's happened like a few times before, and I was silent and neglected, and I never talk about it. So this really made me a question why it's happening every day, and it's happened to more of us why we don't talk about it. So in my artwork, I question about it, and I want people to share about it, to talk about it more and more, so we can hear and we can think about it to change or to do something.
How did that
That's how it started.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. How did that experience influence the themes you return to again and again in your art?
Even though at the time when I start painting about women, I still carry a strong interest of the cultural and history with the beginning of my painting. So I talk about women, but at the same time, I really bring a lot what I interest before, like the history and mythical story and the cultural thing. So when I talk about women, I really cannot shape the story and mythical story, mostly focus on the women figure, but all the accessories and all the background surrounding the women. And this is with my skill and painting techniques, and I can put the history and the thought what I wanted to say. So the beginning, it just started small, just I wanted to make the question about the daily women life, the daily situations of women in Myanmar. But once I started and I make more and more research and I read more and I try to find what is happening to us. So what is happening to Myanmar women. So, and I found the education, political situation, the social, and even religions, everything is included to shape the women nowadays. So based on the information which I collected and which I study, and more I went deeper and deeper, and I got more idea. I have more questions. I have more voices to show to the audience. So it's been quite a long time. So it's like almost 10 years or maybe a little bit more. I'm only talking about the history of women, and all the link is happening in the past. So I changed a lot of painting style as well.
As you have mentioned in your artwork, you often touch on the challenges women face. Could you share some of your inspiration?
Yeah, there is the time where I don't like to paint the face of the women. Most of them are faceless and is covered by kanot, like Burmese traditional like flowery patterns. And I like to use kanot a lot on their face because it's also really show about our culture in the society, like the women life. Because often I saw Burmese women, they get lost behind the tradition, behind what the society want them to be, and they lost themselves, they forgot about themselves, and they lost their identity. They just following what other people want, they just following what society want them to become. So I really see them like they are, like they cannot breathe, and they are like losing themselves. We don't know who they are, but we can see they are women. So that's why I often lost their face, women figure under the canal. And I also use some collage to link with the new and the current situation. And also a lot of painting I also paint, but mostly like a strong figure, just a little bit of smile, more about confidence, like proud for being who they are with a strong voices.
Can you tell me about your decision to leave Myanmar and pursue your artistic career abroad?
There are a lot of reasons to relocate. I think for the moment, the art is the people only interested in art, and artists only could live after all the basically of the humans was there. And you have to have a place to live, a food to eat, and you have the education, and only after that you don't need to worry about your living and eating, and then you start thinking about entertainment and also art and like literature, like new movie, music, this kind of thing. So and I feel the art doesn't have a really important roles in Myanmar at the time, especially for the Myanmar people. They have another interest than to interested in art at the time, and another focus. So, and I thought about it, and a lot of my friends and people that I know, they suggested, if I live somewhere where I can show more about Myanmar artist creation, and I can more give the information and messages about how Myanmar artists create and how is our culture, how is our story, and still not a lot of people know about how Myanmar artists create and what kind of art that we have, and even in the history, not only now, and also in the history, like not a lot of people discover. So I think I will have more chance to create if I move somewhere.
In your artwork, you often use layering and traditional fabrics. What do these choices mean for you personally?
I think fabric is a very interesting choice for me. I have a very strong relationship using fabric. I tried to use since 2012. At the time, the beginning of the using the fabric is very challenging because often fabric has a thread line and they are weaving, so they have a gap. They are not like canvas. Canvas is more like a strong, I would say like a block paper, like opaque. And so when you paint on it, the paint stayed on the canvas. But the fabric is not like that. When you paint it, it's very soft and the paint goes through. So you can see the paint on the front and also on the back. And the color is not the same. The fabric already have a color. And most of them, the fabric that we use are very colorful and sometimes dark color, like dark red and dark green, dark blue. So the paint really don't stay. And the color, we cannot even tell what color it is. At the end, it became brown or dark, very gray, dark. So I have to practice a lot, even in the technical side, how to be able to use Myanmar fabric in the painting, and it also give the same texture as canvas. So I practiced like almost 2 years. And in 2014, I made the first exhibition with the fabric painting included, and I almost find the best way contemplating and use the fabric. It's take a while, and now I can do easily with the technique, and then a lot of materials, and the fabric itself, as I mentioned before, it tells history and the culture. And Myanmar is not only about one ethnicity, and we have many ethnicity, like more than 100 ethnicity, and they have their own languages, food, and often they have their own fabric and traditional outfit. So these fabric colors are different, patterns are different, and the story, and then the social cycle, and then the culture of this ethnicity is different. So that's why I try to use a lot of different fabric. It tell a lot of different story. I just need to paint on it just a small part, and the big part of the painting is that by using the fabric, it tell a lot of story. It's already bring a lot. And I try to use before printing the fabric instead of painting. And also on the white canvas, I try to paint the fabric, because I didn't find the technique to use the fabric at the beginning. And I never had repainting the fabric on the canvas is not the same. It's not the same taste, and even printing the fabric is not the same thing. So I challenge myself to find the technique to be able to use the fabric. And right now we have in our culture and tradition, like Samba Gora, like no women allowed, and women's are like Pong Nene, like Pong is for a man thing, like masculine energy, masculine power. So even this women fabric used by the women, just because the women using the fabric, it became the object which can bring a bad luck to the man. It can kill the masculine glory and energy. So it's really interesting, especially when the fabric is higher than the male shoulder. So it's really bring a lot of history and the social in the society, how we are living in. So this fabric carry a lot of history, the beauty, and also the social situation. So I love it to use that.
You have already said earlier, like more women today speaking out about harassment and abuse. What do you think about this?
I think I still today, I still hear a similar story. Like sometimes the farms have changed. The way people do, like harassing to the women throughout the time is changed a little bit, but it's still there. We can even see in the social media, not in person, but still there. But I'm sure it's still there on the street, especially at night. And what made me really think about it is very clearly is like when we have the festival, like event, and when you go to the event, for the women, like a young women, especially, instead of you enjoying the moment, you have to worry about like who going to touch me, who's going to do something to me. They were more worried, and I barely see there are one or two girls alone, and most of the time, like their families or like the brother, like surrounded by, it's like a shield. It's like they are, like they have their own little cage. So I really feel that, um, so I think the farm has changed, but at the same time, a lot of young people, they have noticed, and more women starting to talk about their situation. And I really, really admire that. And I really support and encourage. So, sometimes, people do that, because they don't know, what can happen to the people. Sometimes they just, oh, you're just beautiful. That's why we like you. That's why we say that. But maybe it might mean something. It might be a different meaning for the people who received it. So now people are more and more sharing, and thanks to the internet and social media. So there are also a good part and bad part, but the good part is like they can share and people can see more. So people know what is appropriate and what is not appropriate more than before. So now young people are willing to change and moving to a better direction. I really believe it. I'm very glad to see this leading toward the direction as well. So I think it's going to take a little bit of time because the root is a bit grabbed tightly, but this but it's growing and it's trying to move to the good direction. So soon in the future, I believe that Myanmar new generation will be a better surrounding.
When people attend your exhibits, what do you want them to take away with it?
It's very interesting. The first exhibition, I still remember. It's a different times of exhibition and different response. The first exhibitions were very interesting because a lot of people don't know about me as an artist. I'm just from a small town, just arrived in the big city and make the exhibition. So people don't know who I am. People don't know what I do. They don't know they like my artwork or not because it's a bit controversial at the time, and not a lot of women artists paint a bit like topless, but at the same time not focusing on the beauty of the women, just more like giving me the messages, and the presentation was different. So I got a very honest review, and a lot of people don't but I'm very happy to see this kind of response. I wish in my life to see that again. And after I keep making the exhibition every 1 year or 2 years, so people start recognizing me with my artwork and recognizing me as an artist. So the way they respond has a little bit different. Sometimes they try to be more gentle, and because we already have the personal relationship, became a friend. So even though that they don't like, they're not really directly a tough review like the beginning. But I love them to give a direct review as well.
Do the audience abroad interpret your art differently from Burmese audiences?
Yeah, very different. So in Myanmar, the audiences, when they see the women fabric on the wall, and mostly the male visitor, they get a bit confused because they don't know to treat this as an artwork, which is on the wall higher than their shoulder, or they should treat it as a lungi, So sometimes they don't want to get closer or they get confused. And once happened, like a collector bought my painting and he left, and at the end of the exhibition, and he sent someone to carry this painting. So this guy was so confused. But I think he was like, "Oh my God, it's a lungi. How should I carry it? Should I lift it? Should I put it down?" Because it's also his boss painting, so he doesn't want to put on the ground, and he is alone and getting confused, how to, and at the same time, he doesn't want to destroy the artwork and have to be careful. But at the same time, he really doesn't want to touch, and he really doesn't want to lift. It was so funny, but it's also given me a lot of questions. I get up a lot of questions. It's tell a lot at that moment of Myanmar. And at the same time, the audiences are also different, and they like it and they don't like it. Even within the women audiences, they really supportive for encouraging the women, but they don't like seeing sometimes like showing the skin and like being the top of women in my painting. So I could see a lot of both sides, and I love it too. I respect both sides of the review. But in Europe, Europe and also outside Myanmar, when I show my painting, they don't know about the culture. They don't know about the fabric. The first thing when they see is like, oh, this fabric is different and beautiful. And only they read the description and they see like they think they saw the history and the culture of Myanmar, and they more and more interested, and they have a long list of questions came out like, oh, this is not only about the beauty, this is go deeper than the beauty of the fabric. So they want to know about the culture, they want to know about the situation there here, the past, the history, and they have more and more questions once they found out it. So often when I made the exhibition outside Myanmar, instead of I'm collecting the response of the audience, it's more like I have to answer a lot of their questions, and I have to explain about Myanmar.
Mm-hmm. Is there anything new you're working on at the moment that you can share?
Yes. At some point, I stopped using fabric because I see now more and more artists are trying to use the fabric, and I think a lot of new generations are also doing the movement and making the voices. So I said, oh, maybe this is what I wanted to give to the people, and like what I wanted to see. So I thought, I'm happy to see that maybe I should move to another creation, and because it's quite a long time frame that I'm using fabric. So I thought, oh, maybe it is my happy ending, and I see what I wanted to see. But actually, it was not that true. And even after 1 or 2 years, I stopped. And suddenly I woke up one day, and I don't know, I think artists, we have that moment like, oh my God, I have the question, and the question is even deeper. And the time why the history, the link, and the current situation, and the fabric, and I have a new like little light. It's like blink, like in the cartoon, like light, and I have another thread which I can dig deeper, and I can go deeper about the fabric. So I decided to use it again, and I think until today is really getting stronger and stronger. So I want to go deeper, and we're gonna be until the end of that, that I'm digging. So I'm still using the fabric, and another interesting thing is it's been a while that I left Myanmar now. So I also have changed. And also I question about my identity. I also question about my life as well. So this question also has an impact on my painting. I think right now will try to create how I see the other different culture, like the culture in Europe, but from the perspective of the Myanmar women artists. And I will like to combine and compare these two, but in one artwork.
That's quite interesting. What is it that keeps you motivated to create an art even during dark times for our home country of Myanmar?
I think art is always, even though I told you before, art came at the end, like people have a place to eat and a food to eat. But even though the whole situation is not perfect for the artist to create art, the creating art is still important because we are living artists, and we could see the current moment, and we absorb it, and we transform it into an object, which is called a painting, or which can be any types of art form. So this art form has all the information and all the feelings, all the moments that is happening right now. Sometimes we focus more on the personal feeling, but sometimes it represents try to be a groups of people, all the society to represent. So, so I think even though I also have some emotional stages. Sometimes I can create a lot of good hours. Sometimes I depress, sometimes I stop and I cannot create it. But even though whatever stages it is important to keep creating. So one day artwork is good. It can give a lot of information and it can link to so many things which happening right now. And the difference between the painting and the other types of art form is the painting is not loud. It's more like you just stand in front of it, and sometimes you get the messages, sometimes you don't get the messages. But once you get a little bit of messages like that, one question and thread, it brings so many questions, and you really it make the audience want to get more and more. So that's why in Europe, in not only about the art exhibition that I involved, I participated in different types of events, different types of occasions, and half of them are exhibition focusing on art, half of them are not about art even. But even though they see the 1 hour work, it can bring more. It can make people to ask more questions and want to know more about Myanmar. So it's really subtle ways, because imagine that you are in a different country and tell the people in this city and in this country, like, do you want to know about Myanmar? Okay, sit. I'm gonna talk about it. This is what is happening to us. This is our culture. This is our story. And no one want to listen. I think they can leave after 3 minutes, 5 minutes. But there is a 1 hour as a medium to connect our and these different people from the different country. The artwork is like a bridge. So they see this artwork and they have a question they want to know about. And you don't even need to tell, and they ask the question to you. So you start explaining, and then they more and more interested in, often people interested in about work and also about other humankind, how they live. So this motivates me a lot, because art could bring a lot of questions, and it can wake up a lot of people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So before we wrap up, is there anything you'd like to add?
Yes, maybe some challenge and struggle. After leaving Myanmar, because we have already built our name for more than a decade. So to be able to live as an artist is easier because you have already worked a lot at the beginning. But here, once you move in, you have to start from the beginning. And I found some of my colleagues and artist friends, and half of them, they give up because the living costs is more expensive, and also the cultural difference is really huge. So you really, really need to make a good artwork, because the whole world, like all the best artists from their country, they trying to reach there. They try to come here, so you can see all the good artists from around the world. You name the country, that is a good artist from that country is here, like trying to reach in the gallery, trying to reach in the exhibition. So the artists have to be really, really, it's very competitive, much more competitive than Myanmar. And plus the living is expensive, the food is expensive, everything is expensive. So often artists, they gave up and they work a different job, and art work as like only in the weekend and really on the second job, and they did it. Or another thing is, the artists like do have all the job, have the artwork, and mostly like the other job pay for to create the artwork. Just to be able to full-time art is really, really challenging. Very few people could survive. So until now, I'm trying to survive as a full-time artist. but I don't know, maybe one day I have to go back to the engineering. I try not to go back, but when I have the time to, that I can create and I can show that and I can challenge to that challenges. I will try to keep creating, and I also want to give some energy for the other artists who have a similar situation like me. Even though when you have to work with something else, don't give up and keep creating and keep, let's talk about as a Myanmar culture and history.
Thank you, Chuu Wai, for your story, for sharing your story and your art with the people of Myanmar.
Yeah, thank you so much for inviting me.